All right, guys, welcome back to the Adam Talks podcast. This is the podcast where Adam only talks, Aaron does not. He is the built-in laugh track, the built-in. I agree with that. That's pretty good. No, I'm sorry. I was just gonna make a little joke here at the beginning because I apologize if I talk over you a little bit. You got to be more assertive.
I know. It's just, I don't know. I've been taught from such a young age that when someone starts speaking, you let them speak and then they will allow you to speak. But I didn't realize manners go out the window the second we start a podcast.
No, manners go out the window the instant that I'm the one in the same podcast room as you, because I have a very bad tendency
to just keep talking and talking and
to
talking.
Just keep talking, to just
fill silence.
Not even fill silence, but finish your sentence. If you're saying something and I know what you're going to say, I just blurt it out because I'm like, all right, it's more efficient if I say it and then we're done.
That's true. But you know what? I think I'm going to start taking a new approach. We're going to go back to primal instincts. It's all about being alpha, so fuck you. Do something about it. I'm on a bigger chair than you. You mad?
I'm taller than you, though.
Oh, not right now. Not when we're sitting.
What's that?
What?
I can't hear you, bro.
Oh, yeah, because you're so far down there?
All right,
yeah.
fuck you.
Yeah, that's right. Alpha bitch. Anyway.
Jesus Christ. Yeah,
What?
you need to stop being so loud. Dude.
I will do whatever I want.
I
will
lower
do as
your
I
volume.
Oh,
yeah, I got the control of the volume right now.
Well, guess what? I can fucking shut your mic off right now.
You got short arms there, little buddy.
Oh, really? Can your arms reach the mouse? Not anymore. Just moved it.
No,
Mad?
I could still grab it.
No, you can't.
Yeah, I could.
Do it.
Well, you're moving it.
Oh, so
All
you
right.
can't grab it. Oh, yeah, that's
Whatever.
right. Yeah, that's right.
Jesus. you like blowing out the eardrums of the
I'm
the
a loud
listeners?
person. That's the one thing that I've been holding back so much is not being a loud person.
That's
I'm
fine.
naturally a loud
It's
person.
okay to be loud. Just don't be eating the mic while you're loud. No one wants to hear that. This isn't
SMR.
This is ASMR. Beer drinking and pizza eating. Dude, that's a legit thing. Because I was with my
absolutely.
friends one
Here,
time
let me
messing around.
demonstrate for you.
No, please
Beer
don't.
drinking.
No one Dude, get that shit away from the mic. No one wants to hear that.
Are you kidding me? That was so pleasant.
Everyone's already clicked off the video. Everyone's canceled. They paused it and listened to something else on Spotify now. No one wants to hear you gurgling your water next to the mic.
No, I'm sure they do.
Jesus Christ.
I'm sure that I made a couple people wet. No big deal.
We'll see.
Yeah.
But welcome back to another episode of the Just One More podcast. Today, at least in this episode, what we want to be talking about is the Promised Neverland. Is that the name of the show?
Yes, it is. The Promised Neverland. Fantastic show. I believe it came out 1 year ago.
Okay. Yeah, well, it was fairly recent because when I sent a Snapchat to one of my friends showing him that I was watching the show, he said he was watching it with my other friend when it was coming out. So it was pretty recent.
Yeah.
But obviously we had the luxury of being able to binge it. You had already seen it before.
Yes,
but I had the luxury of being able to binge it.
Yeah, no, I had to wait every single week for each episode to come out. I was in so much suspense because I needed episodes to come out right then and there, and they just were not there.
I mean, the instant gratification of being able to watch the episode as soon as you finish the other one, it's great.
Oh, yeah.
And it's kind of hard because sometimes I actually do get annoyed when I have to wait a week for an episode, because then I get uninterested, and then when I come back to the episode, I'm like, shit, I don't even remember what happened in the last episode. So like when Attack on Titan season 3 was coming out, I was just sitting there like, oh man, these episodes would be awesome, but because they're broken up into separate episodes, some of the action to me fell flat a little bit because I was waiting. And I know it can increase the tension a little bit, but overall, you guys know me by now, okay? It's, 6 episodes in. I'm a child, okay? My brain hasn't fully developed. Loud noise funny.
Exactly.
And flashing screen, big buff guy punching the shit out of another guy. Entertaining.
Yeah, I was actually about to bring that up too, just because I remember last year when we were rooming together, you would get so tense and just being like, "Bro, when is this next episode gonna come out? I need to watch it."
Yeah.
And you were really hyped for it, and I understood it because I wasn't watching the 3 seasons, and I hadn't seen any of Attack on Titan at the time, and then when I did start, I'm like, "Wow, imagine having to wait a week for this." No. Like
and you never wanted to watch the show originally because you thought it was too mainstream.
Yeah, you know what hooked me?
What?
The main character. Guess what his name was?
It's Aaron.
Oh, damn straight. I'm just saying, best anime, best protagonist name.
Kind of a bitchy character.
I'm
You
just
saying that he reflects you as a person?
absolutely.
He's still a good character. But
Oh yeah, no, but he is the best character.
Actually, I feel like you guys actually have a lot of resemblances.
Oh, I completely agree. That's
totally super stubborn. Yeah, no, actually, now I think about it, the more and more, you're very represented by Aaron.
I completely agree. But
Aaron Yeager.
That's for another episode, maybe.
Yeah. We're not talking about that right now.
Back to the Promised Neverland. So we came up with or what did you want to talk about first?
Well,
particularly, what were your initial thoughts actually? Just because.
Yeah, because the whole thing is he brought this show up to me. We were gonna watch a show. We had some food. We were just gonna be hanging out for one night, and he said, let's watch a movie. He's like, you need to get your anime list of movies. You need to start making one, pretty much. And I was like, oh, sure, maybe, I don't know. I was being indecisive, as I always am. And Aaron suggested this show. And I thought it was a movie at first. And I saw it, and I was like, oh, that seems pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Because he wanted to show me something that wasn't action-based.
Correct.
He wanted my opinion on something else. He wants me to dive deeper into the emotional and...
I'm trying to groom Adam to understand the culture of anime.
Yeah, so that I can finally appreciate the big hentai babe reviewers show. Or
We're
whatever
slowly
going
to ease him in to become a cultured man.
Yeah.
And one day he'll know what that means.
So my first impressions when we first watched at least the trailer, I thought it was an interesting thing. Obviously, the trailer gives off the vibe that you obviously see in the first episode regardless.
Yeah.
Which is these fucking kids are being raised to become food for demons, aliens, something.
Correct.
Now, there's still tons of ambiguity. Is that the right word?
Ambiguity, yeah.
So there's a lot about this world that's really interesting. And now that I heard from you, there is a season 2.
Yes.
I thought this was just like a one-off show, which if it was, that's cool because there's so much that you could have thought.
Yeah.
But I thought there was still enough for me to be kind of annoyed that they didn't explain everything. So I'm glad to hear there's a season 2 coming out. So we'll definitely be talking about that when it comes out.
Oh, yeah.
But that's later this year, right?
Correct. It should be in like the fall season.
So we have hardly talked about the show, but between Aaron and I, we were just watching it, hanging out, and we didn't say anything because I said I want to wait for the podcast.
Correct.
I want to wait for the podcast.
Yeah, like the last 2 episodes, I came over to your dorm. We watched it, and I immediately left. Like,
can we just ban the word dorm because it just makes me feel sad every time I hear it.
I went over to Adam's place, watched
thank
it,
you.
and then immediately left.
Thank you.
Dorm.
Adam's
like,
going down my eye. Yeah. I want to die,
but yeah,
I was intrigued. I thought the art style was good. It was it looked pretty, and everything seemed joyous and interesting. It was just a bunch of little kids, but it did take a dark turn, and that's more up my alley. I like more darker, edgier, more darker.
Basically, what he's trying to say is he's an edgelord.
Yeah, completely.
Yeah.
Captain Levi is my favorite Attack on Titan character. I'm an edgelord. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Whatever.
But something I'm surprised you didn't bring up was in terms of the art style, their eyes were so far apart. I don't know if you noticed that. Like, you could literally have like a landing strip in between their eyes.
Well, no, that's what pissed me off when I watched like one of the first few episodes. Phil, that little kid.
Yeah.
His eyes were huge. All these people have huge eyes and like decently sized heads, but like their eyes were clearly overcompensated.
Oh yeah.
And I was getting annoyed because I kept saying to myself, Jesus Christ, what's wrong with these kids? And it's just a bunch of little kids being dumb and playing around and doing whatnot.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. It took me a while to get adjusted to the art style just because I had seen it many similarities with other shows, but it was just a tad different. And I don't know what it was, but when I first saw Emma, and I think you made a comment about this too, I genuinely thought Emma was a boy.
I thought it was a boy too, until she talked.
Yeah, it took me like 6 episodes to finally be like, okay, she's a girl. She's a girl.
Oh, to get it ingrained into your head?
Yeah, where I didn't have to second guess myself anymore.
I mean, once I asked you, I was like, oh, wait, it's a girl. Oh, okay, that makes so much more sense now.
Yeah.
But this show was really plot heavy. There's nothing wrong with that. I thought it was interesting. The concept, as long as you have a cool concept, I'm in, right?
Absolutely.
So,
yeah,
my concepts obviously don't include a bunch of
romance,
bloodthirsty, just thirsty dudes wanting to rate hentai girls, right? That's not an interesting concept to me. It's dare I say cringe.
Tragic.
Okay? Weebish.
Quick side note.
What?
I may or may not have watched the rest of them in sub just to see what it was like. Because I got bored and I had nothing to do because I'd finished all my homework and just was sitting down. So I was like, so I thought to myself, maybe I should see what the rest of this is like. So I sat down, watched the rest of the episodes. I can now confirm 100%. It's definitely just hentai.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there wasn't much more to go off of other than shock value for the first episode or two, and then after that, it's just, okay, we're blatant hentai.
Yeah, it's hentai. But I will say, if you can get past that, it's very funny.
Oh, it probably is funny.
It's
I don't
funny.
doubt it.
Yeah,
It can be funny.
it's
But
funny.
it's
But it's
very,
hentai.
very sexual, and I don't feel like wasting my time with that. But back to
back to
Promised
the
Neverland. We're getting sidetracked here. This is the Just One More podcast, not the getting sidetracked podcast. Okay, guys. Was that joke funny this time, Aaron?
No, I genuinely think you should
Fuck
leave again.
you. Anyway,
Tool.
So I like the idea of the show,
Mm-hmm.
and I continued to watch it. And I really started to like the main characters. I'm looking at them right now.
Correct.
I'm going to see if I can remember their names. So we have Emma.
Yep.
Then we have Ray.
Correct.
And then we have Norman.
Yay. You
Awesome.
remember
I cared way more about these characters than
Darwin's
Kaname.
Yeah.
But
no clue.
Kaname will
these
get
are also
interesting.
these are also really easy names to remember. Like
Yes.
even I remembered them. So
Oh, and I remember the show. Some of the characters in My Hero, I have the hardest time remembering their names.
Oh, absolutely.
Because they're so foreign.
yeah.
So
And these were very simple. Emma, Ray,
Norman.
I was gonna say that. Don't gotta be so rude.
But
interrupting me.
so yeah, I thought the first episode had a really big shock to it. It was the first episode where we do find out that the little girl dies, right?
Yes, I do forget her name.
It starts with a C, Colleen or something, or
Katie, Courtney.
no. I think it has an L. Again,
Yeah, whatever. Anyway.
so she unfortunately dies because they think that they're living in a normal orphanage.
Correct.
But what's really happening is they're being raised and sold off as food, which was pretty. I didn't expect it. Obviously, I did see the trailer, so I knew something was going to happen. They're going to die. They're scared.
Yeah.
I was thinking maybe worst possible case, the woman, the mother, I guess, or the maid, whatever you want to consider her, she was killing them and eating them, or like killing them in something sadistic and messed up. But
Yeah, that
the
one threw
instant
me.
I saw aliens, I was like, oh, or demons.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, that one threw me for a loop that you thought the mom was killing the kids.
Yeah, I thought she was like a psychopath
No,
because you
it's-
saw her facial
Oh,
expression.
I
She's like, this
guess.
girl is sick in the head, which
she
still is.
Yeah.
But-
But not enough to be a cannibal.
And I'm glad that I definitely would have. I almost kind of wish I didn't see the trailer because then it would have
Yeah.
completely thrown me off.
That's true.
But I guess I've seen enough stuff to instantly kind of get that feeling. Okay, obviously something's fucked up
yeah.
here.
It's like
But
horror themed.
But that's the thing. You kind of told me. You just said I want you to watch a show that's less action.
Correct.
So you could have shown this to me, and it could have just been a genuinely heartwarming story.
Yeah.
And then I could have been completely thrown for a loop when I see this little girl drained of all her color practically and
Basically.
dead, and everyone freaking the fuck out.
See, the problem with that is that you're a little bitch, so it takes a lot to convince you to start watching something. I had to put in a lot of work to make sure that you wanted to watch this.
It's a cool concept, though.
It is. No, I understand that. But for you to initially watch it, it took a trailer. So that's why I didn't initially want to show you it, but that's the only way I could think of to actually hook you.
Okay, well, I don't think it was the end of the world that I watched the trailer for the
Yeah,
show. I think now you have a better grasp on what I like.
oh yeah, I absolutely know what you would find
So
entertaining.
now that you
what
know,
wouldn't.
it just comes down to the concept of the show, and if
Yeah.
you think there's now I kind of trust you to throw a show at me and we watch it. I have no context to the
Correct.
show.
Yeah, I have a good understanding of your taste. I knew you would hate interspecies reviewers.
Oh, that's right. What this was called.
Yeah, yeah.
But that was just a meme. It was just a
Yeah.
meme.
I knew you would like Promised Neverland. My Hero Academia, I also recommended to you, and you seem to enjoy it pretty.
Yeah, I enjoy
much.
it. Now, I think I've said this before. Some of my friends always ask me about it. They think it's like my favorite. It's a cool show. It's not my favorite. No,
Right.
It's not by far my favorite because, it's a mixture of the idea itself is sick, really cool, like it. But you still got a lot of cutesy stuff and this and that. And sometimes I get a little annoyed at it. But I take it seriously.
Yeah, I feel that for you, there's just not enough gravity to it where you can really have consequences in terms of death. I feel like for you to have a show that you genuinely enjoy, like people need to be dying, and the consequences need to be substantial, not just impactful.
I think another thing is I've kind of gotten used to the tropes and the different things in these shows. So the first few shows that I watched were super entertaining. I was at the edge of my seat every episode. But now the more I've seen, the more it's like, especially for Darwin's Game.
Yeah.
We're watching this. Yeah, stereotypical.
Absolutely.
This and that. Like, of course, you have this in every show.
Mhm.
The one guy, he has a special ability, blah, blah, blah.
He's
So,
got the chick.
yeah, of course, now I'm starting to
Understand the anime more.
and make more criticism. So if I went back to some shows that I've watched, which I still have seen the first few shows that I watched more than once.
Right.
It's probably just not nostalgia glasses, but rose-colored lenses, I guess. Just looking back at it and saying, no, this is different. Yeah, there's plot armor in this show, but it's different, guys. It's different. It's not dumb like this. Everyone gets their own attachments to shows. So,
Absolutely.
but yeah, I really liked the first episode, and the name of our podcast is exactly what happened.
Yep.
Hey, just one more, bro. And that went to the first 6 episodes we watched straight in a row.
1 through 6, all in one sitting.
And I don't know if you noticed this or not, but I was making comments, and I've been doing this when we've been watching anime together. Because before I had watched the show,
Right.
Code Geass, so I didn't really need to make comments. It was your reactions.
Correct.
But when I'm watching shows with you, I was always making comments like, just dumb comments.
Yeah.
Oh, this stupid thing's gonna happen, or saying something really crude and ridiculous that's obviously dumb and not gonna happen. And I could tell, maybe I'm wrong, that you were sitting there like, dude, shut the fuck up, listen.
Just because there were some instances where you would make comments, but the times in which you were making comments were very critical in terms of the plot because the dialogue was important. And so I wanted you to listen to make sure you caught it. So I think it was just your timing of making the comments was sometimes off. Like there was other times where you would say it during where nothing was happening. And those I would try to not lead you on, but I would make a neutral comment so that you couldn't look at me and say, oh, I know this is going to happen or this isn't going to happen.
Yeah.
Because my greatest fear, like half the time, was you would say something and then I would give it away and say, oh, yeah, that does happen, or no, that doesn't happen.
I was never directing the questions towards you. I was never saying like, is the mom, does she actually already know about this or something? I wasn't expecting you to be like, yeah, and then spoil it.
Right.
I'm just throwing the question out there as if it's my first time watching.
Gotcha.
I'm just saying, oh, I wonder. I'm talking to myself. That's what I'm doing.
And then other times you would pose a question, and then the question, it was going to be answered directly after, so that's why I would point at the screen and say, just watch because, look, here comes the answer. So, yeah.
But, yeah, I like making comments. When I watch stuff on myself, I don't usually do that. But when I'm with someone else, since you've already seen it before, I'm just making comments to maybe you'll laugh about it because it's like, oh, that's funny or something.
Gotcha.
But,
yeah, I definitely did the same when we were watching Code Geass. Like, I would throw out predictions, say, oh, I hate them. This person's going to die.
Yeah.
And so it's just fun. I feel like that's one of the things you do when you're with your friends. So
yeah, you hated Susaku.
I hated
Susaku.
I still do.
I love Susaku. Dude.
Trash.
But so yeah, we got through the first 6 episodes. Then we took a couple-day hiatus, I think. And
we took a week hiatus.
And then we watched 4 more, and then we ended off with 2.
Correct.
And I mean, it escalated a lot.
Oh, absolutely. I think the final 3 episodes are like it exponentially grew.
Because I mean, I was genuinely on the edge of my seat watching it because I was thinking to myself, wow, like they had great endings to most of the episodes.
Yes.
A lot of them were cliffhangers, like, oh, an answer. You have to wait till the next week. Thank God I didn't have to.
Yeah. They led into each other very fluidly. There was never like a hard stop where you're like, this feels disconnected from the next episode.
Now, I will say there were a few times where, the characters were being super convenient. None of them had plot armor, per se.
Correct.
But it was more, they had thought everything out, and oh, man, they were 3 levels. It wasn't just like they had a backup plan. They had a backup plan to their backup plan.
Correct.
And I thought that was really interesting, and a lot of it made sense. None of it seemed out of the realm of reality, which I liked, so it felt grounded.
Absolutely.
I never sat and said something like, this is complete bullshit, or like, oh, of course. A lot of things you watch in the show, and then later in a few episodes, they describe that like, oh, someone was actually behind a door listening to the whole conversation, and that's how this led to this. Or like, while we were not talking to each other, we were all training and doing this and that. So I think the show did a really good job at explaining everything.
Correct.
Nothing felt unfair or, I guess, again, the best word I can use is plot armor. There was never anything like that. There were consequences, especially with Norman, which really took me back. I was like, fuck, dude, why is Norman doing this? This is fucked. How is this going to go now? They figure out that there is a cliff, so they're completely screwed.
Yeah, that was the biggest
Which
reveal.
I wasn't even thinking.
Neither did I. When I first saw this, I thought, why didn't he leave? Like, it never occurred to me that there would be something on the other side of the wall.
But it makes total sense. After you see the fact that there's a cliff, you're like, well, oh, duh, of course. Why would they just have a wall that they could climb over easily?
Exactly.
Of course there's going to be a fucking cliff.
Yeah, and it's like common sense. But I like that it was formatted that way just because the narrator wanted you to, because there was this one scene where they would show the wall and then they showed the forest over it, but they never showed like what was directly under it.
Yeah.
And so you immediately thought, okay, there's just forest there. And then they showed you the rest, and you're like, oh, duh, why wouldn't there be like a cliff or a death trap or something preventing you from going over the wall?
But even though it was only 12 episodes, I really did like the character development.
Yeah.
I fucking hated Phil at the beginning. What an annoying little piece of shit.
You hated him for no reason. I was so confused why you hated him.
I saw him. I was like, this kid's annoying. He's crying all the time. He's being a little whiny baby. He's being a little bitch. I was like, watch this.
He's a 5-year-old.
I said, I know, but I told you at the beginning of the show, I said, this motherfucker's going to do some shit that fucks everyone over later. And I almost thought I was like dancing, getting ready to be like, dude, I told you, fuck this kid, fuck Phil, because they're all trying to escape. And then Phil's like,
or you made the comment, what if did one of them get left behind? Please don't tell me someone got
because
left
Ray
behind.
was standing there and his eyes were open. He's like, is this everyone?
Right.
And I was like, fuck, no. And Phil walks up to Mom, like what's going on, or where is everyone? And I'm like, shit, now she's got a
pawn.
A pawn, and it's checkmate, and it's like, fuck, what's gonna happen now? Now some shit, because you're saying shit's gonna happen soon. And I was like, okay, now there's gonna be people. Someone's gonna die.
Yeah,
someone's gonna die.
You were so gun ho on like someone will die.
I'm like, shit's gonna happen.
No
Aliens are gonna come in. Like maybe a gun's gonna get pulled. Something's going to actually happen that's fucked up, and a character's going to seriously get hurt.
Right.
And I liked the fact that my mind was racing with all these ideas.
Mm-hmm.
But then, again, maybe this is something that I just really enjoy with shows. I like the fact that because sometimes people don't like it when the character is super smart and they plan ahead and everything worked out perfectly, like in Code Geass, Lelouch calculates everything so meticulously that it all works out in his favor and there were no flaws in the plan.
Absolutely.
But it ends up that Phil actually, they explain that Phil was actually out here. He knew about everything going on. And then they start describing about how all the other kids figured out. And all this stuff that we thought, that wasn't true was actually going on the side. And then we figure out about it later. And I thought, oh, that's super cool. Yeah. I really like that.
Because it was fulfilling. It felt natural. Like this made sense.
And I looked at Aaron and I hated Phil. I was getting mad at him. Then the next episode goes up. And then when we hear Phil like, okay, I'll stay by myself.
One for the team. Yep.
I'll help the new kids because we're gonna get them out eventually. And I put my fingers out. Yo, big ups, Phil.
Big up, Phil.
Big ups,
oh
Phil.
My God.
It went
MVP.
from the most hated character. I was like, fuck this little kid. He's a little shithead. To, yo, big up, Phil. And then we were watching like later in the episode and like some other stuff's going on. And then I just go to Aaron. I'm like, yo, dude. And he's like, what? And I'm like, just want to let you know, big up, Phil, dude.
Even while you were drunk at the bar yesterday, you still texted me, big up Phil. Like, that's how much he loved Phil after seeing that he was taking one for the team. Yeah, absolutely.
It was great. But I am really sad that Norman, we don't know yet.
Okay, that's what I was telling you. Movie logic / TV logic says that if you don't see the person die on screen, they are still alive.
I can totally get behind that. You're totally right. Because why would they just tell him, go in here? Something's up with him. They probably kept him.
I feel like he's the pawn. When you mention Phil being a pawn, I'm thinking to myself, wait, no, Norman's probably the pawn.
Yeah,
they're going to do
Norman's
something
the
with
pawn,
him.
Or maybe Grandma wanted to see Norman because he was like a super intellectual. Maybe
he could be a dad now.
Well, that's what I was about to say, because we don't know how the women get impregnated.
Oh, that's a good point.
So I was wondering if there's like an exceptional dude that like turns out to be like a dad, which again, I don't know how that is. And this is kind of like Attack on Titan, where it was, you watch the first 2 seasons, like it's just about Titans, right?
Exactly.
But I feel like this, and then when you figure out what's in the basement and like everything else, you're sitting there thinking to yourself, oh shit, like the whole lore behind the whole world has changed.
Exactly.
So this show, I feel like at first we might just think, oh, it's just about kids being eaten, but it could turn to something super political or something.
Oh, absolutely.
So I'm actually really, really invested in this show.
Oh,
I love it. I
agree.
actually really love it. I'm so glad that we watched it.
I'm glad that you enjoyed it.
And I'm glad that because Ray was gonna kill himself.
Yes.
And he's by far my favorite character.
Oh, I could tell. He's the edgelord.
He is the edgelord.
Yep.
He's the edgelord. He's like, oh, I'm gonna read books, and his hair is cool. I love his hair.
Oh my god.
There's nothing wrong with Emma. Okay.
I think Emma's my favorite character.
I'm wondering if, yeah, I wonder if she's gonna have longer hair in the next part, or if it's gonna be like directly.
I guess it just depends on how far apart the episodes are. Where do you think they're gonna take season 2 though? Because they could do a lot.
I think they could. The manga probably exists.
No,
so.
I agree, but as a prediction, just because the kids escaped, so we still have to figure out what they're gonna do.
Mm-hmm.
They could show us more about the world, maybe headquarters. They could tell us what Norman's up to, what happens to Mom, what happens to Phil. Like that right there is already like 3 different plots that we could work into.
If Norman was the actual pawn,
which I think he is,
because originally we had the sister come in because she wanted to give extra eyes for Mom.
Correct.
And she ended up being a pawn to Grandma and Mom.
Yep.
But do you think that Grandma is now using what's the name of Mom? She has a name specifically.
Let's just call her Mom.
Yeah, so I almost think that she's going to be using Mom now as a pawn. And maybe
Mom
Mom will stand, because after the kids leave, she said, I've lost. Go, my children. So she thinks, oh, I'm completely fucked. I'm going to die because
probably
the children got away.
Do you think she'll die?
Do you think they'll execute her for failing and losing all their fucking
think about
livestock?
it. She messed up once, but every single other time, she's had the best produce. So it's kind of one of those things where you give up for fucking up one time versus one slip up out of we don't know how long
the feast is coming up though, right?
Yeah.
So
and everyone else fucked up too.
And obviously they could replace Mom because there's still all the little kids.
Right.
I don't know if she she knows. Yeah, at the end she says, Phil, they escaped.
Yes.
So she knows that the kid's there now.
Yeah. Oh, that's another good point.
At least she knows Phil knows.
Yes.
She doesn't, because actually the little kids actually don't know.
Yeah, they don't know regardless.
So either maybe something will happen to her, or maybe she's got a change of heart, and she's now going to be helping the kids secretly. But I feel like something's still going to happen to her because Mom or Grandma is probably she's going to fall under them. The kids got out. She has her pawn, which is Norman.
Correct.
And Grandma's probably the big mastermind behind all this, obviously. Yeah. So because she's a very not developed character. We don't know anything about her. We haven't even seen her face. It's always been blacked out a little bit. So she's definitely the really crazy psycho bitch.
I will say this though. It'd be very odd if they kill off Mom after, in the last episode, basically the last scene, them revealing to us that Ray is Mom's child.
Yeah, well, I think what will happen is she like I said, she'll have a change of heart, and I think she'll probably still continue to do her work and whatnot. I have no idea what the kids will actually end up doing. I don't know if it's going to be a few years in the future and they come back, or if it's just going to be all about Phil's adventure. We have no idea. I don't know what direction, because they could go multiple directions.
Correct.
It could another plant that's going on at the same time, or what Emma and them are doing now, or what Phil's doing now. But I think what'll happen is it'll lead to something going on, and then Mom ends up being in a situation where she actually helps out the kids, and then she gets killed because of it, because she becomes a traitor.
Sacrifice.
Yeah, a sacrifice. That's
martyr.
what I see.
Yeah.
But
I hope that I just want all 3 of the main characters to live at some point. Right now, my biggest fear is that they're going to attempt to brainwash Norman, and it's going to work. That's my greatest fear. Yeah, what if they brainwash Norman? Because we don't know what the technology is. They probably have that. And so that's my greatest fear, where it's 2v1 now, and it's you have to turn on your best friend.
Well, I was going to say, why would they need to brainwash? Because then they just brainwash all the moms.
They are brainwashed.
No.
If you really think about it.
No. I'd say that's different from brainwashing, because they're willingly doing it. If, hey, you're smart enough,
but they didn't want to initially do it. They're doing this because this is the only way to survive, and that in itself is a form of brainwash, if you really think about it.
I guess maybe it could classify. I don't know if the formal definition of brainwashing and what subcategories it has, but it's more, I have you at gunpoint, and you're going to do whatever I say. That's not brainwashing. That's holding you hostage, practically.
Well, but you can also argue they're not doing this. Their job is to make produce.
If you're brainwashed...
She's making it, though, so it's at the highest quality. You don't have to do that.
Okay. Yeah, I know.
After a while.
You could say that.
But so I don't know. It could be one of those things where they're fighting each other, which I don't want to happen. I want I want Norman to escape so much. I want all three of them to escape.
Oh, I do, because I really do like Norman. It was
Mhm.
crazy. You see his facial expression. I think they did a phenomenal job with the facial
absolutely.
expressions, and
Yep.
they really set the mood for a lot of things. There's just so much good to say. I can't recall off the top of my head anything that I thought of and said, "Oh, that didn't make sense," or because I'm not trying to reiterate the fact that before I said, "Oh, there was nothing that was plot armory," but here I'm just trying to say that there was nothing that they did that I thought was bad. I don't think they
Yeah.
really slipped up anywhere. I think everything went really smooth. I thought it was a good story overall. I don't have
Very
anything
consistent.
negative to say about it.
Yeah,
I
neither would
genuinely
I.
don't. But what I do have to say is that Ray better live, okay? Because I really do like him. And actually, because I wanted to say this, I really did enjoy the scenes where they went through the past of Mom and the sister that came in.
Yes, it did tell you what like they had to go through, like their endeavors, and it showed you like another layer where it's not just an evil character, but you're sympathetic for them because they didn't want to do this originally. They had the same aspirations that Emma did, because we saw in the one scene, Mom was trying to leave and then she got pulled back in. So it's interesting to see where their paths diverged in her past and here for Emma in the present.
It was just kind of, it really did flesh out the characters.
Yeah.
Because at first, you always think 12 episodes, how are you going to build characters?
Ooh.
Sometimes you just have to take a big step and just assume everyone's learning really quickly about characters, and you have to throw things here and there. But because everyone's still young enough, the kids, there's not too much to flesh out of their story. It's like,
Exactly.
you understand they're kids.
Yeah.
They're really smart. They've been living in an orphanage. It's believable.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, these kids are smart as hell.
Yeah.
I mean, this is some high tier produce. I mean, of course she's the
Absolutely.
best plant. So her kid, which we figured out at the end, is Ray.
Mm-hmm.
Because you were telling me, who do you think is the smartest character?
I would have to go with. I'll go with Norman. I think Norman's definitely the smartest.
Okay, I was almost waiting for you to say Emma,
Uh,
because like you'd expect it to be Ray
yeah.
versus Norman.
Norman.
And I was actually gonna say, because I was thinking to myself, oh, it's Norman, but I still do think Ray is one of the smartest. If
you had to, rank them.
Okay, because I almost want to say Norman, and then we'd agree. But I feel like you could fight for Ray.
I think it's Norman, Emma, Ray.
You
I
think
actually
Ray's
think
the dumbest?
Ray's the dumbest out of all of them.
It would be so easy to say Emma's the dumbest because she just blindly goes in. But like, there's a sort of charm to her, not stupidity, but her.
Well, finish your ranking and then we can.
See, but I'm trying to justify because they're all smart.
Naturally.
They're
what
all
comes
smart.
to head?
I'd have to say Norman, Ray, Emma. That's what I'd
So
have
you
to
think
say.
Ray is smarter than Emma?
Yeah, I do.
So you're wrong.
Well, no, because we'll argue it. Because are you trying to say that because
I think because Ray is so single-minded
Yeah.
and he's so he has tunnel vision. So once he gets on track of something, it's so easy for him to get lost in his own ideas, like him trying to kill himself. Clearly, Emma was able to come up with a better solution, execute it, and establish to Ray, hey, you don't have to die. We can all live. And Ray is consistently under the mindset, no, I need to die for you to escape. Or this, we can't take everyone. Only us three can leave, or
Yeah.
only us five can leave. And that's having that narrow mindset that limits his ability to be a smarter character and come up with better solutions. Like once he comes up with, he doesn't look for the optimal solution. He looks for the easiest solution. Whereas Emma looks for the optimal solution, in which case it may take her a bit more time to come up with the details and such.
And then Norman's super big picture.
Oh,
Like,
absolutely.
I know everything that's going on.
He's super reactive too. He understands situations, knows how to handle them, and understands repercussion. But at the same time,
What is that noise? It's coming from your mic. What's going on? Dude, is there a ghost in here? Whoa, whoa, whoa.
oh yeah, blame my mic, and it was your mic.
That's not a gag. What was that?
I don't know.
Wait, why was it doing that? What was going on?
Wait,
We weren't touching anything.
no, we were literally just sitting back.
What the fuck?
Adam, I'm scared.
I'm scared too.
I want my blankie.
I want my waifu pillow.
Oh, God damn. I got rid of that. Anyways.
And yeah, so Norman, I feel like we can both agree is the smartest. And
Absolutely.
I guess
which makes sense.
You have good points
established.
with Emma.
Yeah.
But I kind of say because she is the main character. They're all the main characters, but she's clearly the main.
She's the leader.
Of the three. Yes, she's the leader. Even though
because
Norman's
they follow
a good
along to they follow her plan. They follow her ideals. So it makes her the focus.
But I'd say when the show starts, she obviously is rising up.
Correct.
And then
Ray kind of plateaus.
Ray kind of falls because once
okay.
we learn how Ray has been doing this for years, he's super smart. He comes from his mom, who's obviously super smart. He has known about everything since he's been born. He heard stuff in the womb. He knew about getting his things implanted. He knows all this stuff. He's smart. He's been doing this plan and getting it ready for years.
Absolutely.
So he's clearly smart.
Yeah.
But then when the show goes on, he becomes more tunnel visioned. And then there's kind of this path where they cross where they're about equal in understanding. And then obviously Emma starts to be the more logical one because he's so shocked
I feel like
what's happened. Because he lost Norman and he lost his friends and like now he's not thinking properly.
Yeah, like he was put in a place of panic and then he just couldn't compose himself to think things logically, whereas Emma was focused and made sure, okay, this is the goal. I will make sure this plan executes whatever it takes, which is a big difference.
They kind of rubbed off on each other. Like that point where like she's going up and he's going down, they rub off on each other and then he starts to kind of act the way she did at the beginning and then she starts acting the way he should have been acting and when he was acting before. So
correct.
Or the way he was acting before.
Yeah.
So I think they're really fleshed out characters. And the two other characters, the girl with the glasses and the taller kid, I don't recall their names.
Neither do I.
I'm not even good with. Hey guys, I'm not good with names. Yeah, no shit. Neither is anyone else. Okay, I hear that from everyone. Hey guys, I just want to let you know I'm not good with names. Some people, sure, they can remember names, but when was the last time that someone told you, if you met in a group for something?
Don and Gilda.
Okay. Yeah, they're fair side characters.
Wait, who's Crone?
I don't know. I don't want to look at any of this. I'm scared. Oh, Isabel is the name of the mom too.
Yeah. Is Crone the other one? The other lady?
Yo,
her smile.
That smile though, Jesus Christ. When I saw that, I was like, bro, what is wrong with this woman?
Oh yeah.
I was so intrigued about her background, and then when you saw the little video of like how she used to be a kid and whatnot, I was like, oh, so the moms are kids, used to be kids.
Something I picked up while I was watching mid-episode was that I think the doll that she had was supposed to represent her and how she progressed, like herself internally or mentally or something. Because when she first gets the doll, it's very whole, it's brand new, it's very symbolic of her being pure and innocent. And then as time progressed, we see like the doll is getting ripped up, punched, like absolutely destroyed.
Yeah, you can see it that way.
Just like she was. So I thought it was really cool
but
that
it's like
they implemented
the only thing she has left.
Exactly.
Which is just, again, the concept works so well because it's so fucked up.
Yeah.
And you're just sitting there thinking to yourself, if I was in this situation, this is obviously not a realistic show.
Right.
But, say something like that happened, which is totally reasonable to think about. Like,
absolutely.
A higher being that now feeds on us, that could happen. Like, you could wake up one day and, I don't know, you got abducted by aliens or something.
Yeah.
And it's just like, wow, it's so good. I really liked it. I know I've been saying that a lot, but...
You mentioned that this could happen to us. If you had to choose, what character do you think you would be?
Oh, so if I had, choose and I was in this situation...
Yeah. What character best represents you?
I'd say probably Ray, because I want to say I'd be get good in the moment. I'd be like, oh, I'm thinking this is a plan. But the instant something went off plan, I'd freak out. Because I was totally agreeing with him. I was like, yeah, whatever. I mean, I know they want to live life regardless if there's pain and suffering in the process, but... they are kind of right. You die in an instant, whatever. It's just such a crazy thing for you to learn at such a young age.
That's so true. Like being put in that situation where you're like, okay, now I have to react and make sure I do everything correctly. It's just so difficult. But
that's Justin Bieber? What is that?
I don't know. I tried pulling up the picture, but...
Oh, okay.
Yeah, whatever.
Some weird ad popped up with Justin Bieber. He had a mustache?
True.
Oh, you're just looking up character names?
Well, no, just the character, so you can have like a good idea of who you could be. I don't know.
Well, I'm definitely not Dom, who's such a dumb motherfucker.
That's true. Oh my god.
The instant he's told not to do anything because it's dangerous, he fucking does it. I was like, you dumb, I fucking hate you.
I
Dom.
was
You dumbass.
so anxious watching that episode when he went into that room, just because I genuinely thought this is all going to blow up in their face and they're going to be completely screwed. They should have never trusted anyone, should have just kept it to them three and then just kept trying to deceiving them for their own good.
And then he does the stereotypical, okay, maybe these are a few points because I totally forgot about the whole Dom thing.
Yeah.
Where they got out of her room, which was lucky as hell.
Oh, absolutely.
But I can't tell, because what do you think Phil was in on it already? A little bit maybe? Because I think at that point he was a little suspicious.
Oh, absolutely.
I
think it was enough for him to try to help them out, saying, okay, even if they haven't told me they need my help, I'll happen to be at the right place at the right time.
But the annoying trope that happened was the fact that they did the standard, you lied to me, and then they get mad. It's like, come on, understand why they lied to you or why they weren't being upfront. Like, it's fucked.
I will say, though, this one is warranted because they're children.
Yeah, I guess.
If you're a little kid, you're absolutely thinking, you lied to me. Like, you're a bully. You're mean. You're rude. If they were adults, I would agree. Like, think things logically, but they're little kids. Like, they're not even the smattest ones.
Yeah, so. and they're just probably scared, so they just don't want to believe it.
Exactly.
Like, no, it's all right, guys. You're just joking around. You're making a dumb meme here.
Mm-hmm.
What about you? Who do you think your character would be?
If I had to pick,
because I
would go with Emma.
Really?
I think I would be more representative of Emma just because I don't think she's the brightest one, at least in the beginning, which is very representative of me. Like, I don't think I'm typically the brightest person. I'm very stubborn like she is. And in terms of athleticism, I'd say I think I'm fairly athletic. So,
well, all these kids are superhumans because their athleticism is bonkers. Beyond comprehension.
Yeah. But she's the most athletic, so I'm typically a very athletic person amongst the crowd. So I would go with Emma. Additionally, I don't know. She laughs a lot, and I feel like I laugh a lot too,
and she's just like a down-to-earth, wholesome person. I was just going to say another thing that definitely makes me want to say Ray is because he initially says, dude, getting everyone's a pipe dream. That's not happening. That's stupid. They'll hold us back. That's the same shit I would say. I'd say the same shit. I'd try to be realistic. He's the realist here. He's trying to say, guys, you got to think about this for a second. And that's totally what I would say. I'd be you'd be optimistic, like Emma, and I would be the pessimist.
Correct.
So I think that works pretty well.
Yeah. Additionally, I do think that Emma does need a lot of support from her friends, which is something I need, at least in terms of like school and stuff, where it's like, I typically need help, like getting through things. But I do come up with some decent ideas sometimes. I don't know. I guess it depends, but it's usually my friends that help me execute
the amount of times where you've done something and completely shot in the dark and it's worked out for you.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck you. That's so stupid.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking about it right now. How many times like you've got into an exam or something and been like, I barely studied, and you walk out and you're like, hey, I actually did. Like, you actually end up doing well or better than me, and I'm just like, bruh, I studied for this, and you did nothing but watch anime, yet you somehow do better? All right.
Or, like, even, this is really bad, but even I don't know if I ever told you this, but when I had to take when I was applying for my internship and I had to take an interview, I was in the middle of class. It was pure luck that I looked at my phone because it was on silent, I picked up the phone call to take the interview. I literally left class halfway through, sat down in an empty gym, and just took that interview on the floor. No prep time.
And you got
I got the position. And it's like, that's just dumb luck where it's...
But that's the confidence. And
exactly.
That's the same stuff that Emma has where she's out here and she's like, no, I'm going to do this. I believe in it.
Absolutely. Yeah, I guess, that's another good point. I'm very stubborn. When I think I can do something, I like believe it into existence where this will happen.
He never loses. He loses, but he never loses.
Absolutely.
Because you will defeat him.
And the second I get one dub, he takes
it.
End of it.
But even if you keep losing, you're just like, nah, run it back. Like a smash. It's just like, Aaron.
You drop me so many times, but the one time I do get that win, I'm basically the best person at Smash.
Let me look at the list real quick. Oh, there's Maybe
Also, Emma is just dumb lucky sometimes too. Like dumb lucky that like all the kids happen to believe her in certain situations.
well they got Phil.
Oh yeah, that's right. Never
And then
mind.
they, like,
That's a good point.
yeah,
That's a
yeah.
good point.
So
Man.
overall, I guess we can like wrap this up a little bit.
Absolutely.
What do you rate it out of 10? I want to hear yours, and then you'll hear mine.
Oh, actually, I like this. God. Are we? What system are we using? Are we using the
Oh, that's
ballet
right.
system?
Are we using the standard 10 system, or are we using our breast size system?
Oh, that's a good point.
The one that you just made out of the
random.
blue?
Yeah.
God. Let me see if I can even find it. Did I write it down?
Let's just do the ballet system. Do you
Yeah.
know what that is?
Um,
Sorry, not ballet. The ice skating system. So
no.
basically, in ice skating, when people are trying to rate scores, it is impossible for anyone to get a perfect 10. Like, it is not possible. There's no such thing as a perfect 10
Okay.
because you're under the assumption that maybe someday something will surpass it, and once you give out a 10, there's nothing greater than a 10.
Yes. Yeah.
So we're gonna go with that. Let's see. Well, in terms of the animation was good, plot was really good, very few holes. I like the characters.
Do you also like breathing
Sorry.
in the mic?
Sorry, it's just I'm really thinking about this just because I've seen a lot of anime. I would give this an 8.8.
Okay, so for someone that's seen a lot of anime, this is a pretty high up there on your list.
Yes, I would.
You don't have to say if it's in your top 10 or not. I know you're going to sit here and
Right.
be super indecisive. I don't know.
I lied. 8.7.
8
No,
points.
I gave it an 8.8. We're going with an 8.8.
Okay.
We're gonna start. I'm gonna write this down. We're gonna make this
Because
into a ranking system.
I've never given a show a 10. I don't really give out 10s for stuff because
Correct.
you're totally right. If you give out a 10, then that practically means nothing can be better than it. But I think for scales for at least games and shows, multiple shows can be 10s for different reasons. I wouldn't necessarily call Code Geass a 10. There's clearly issues with it, but I just like it a lot.
Right.
But I really did like this show. It was super interesting. It has the benefit of being short and sweet.
Yes.
So it's kind of hard. Again, this isn't a scale saying like just because it's higher than a show, that doesn't make it I like it more. Just because say I gave Code Geass like a 8 and I gave this show a 9, that doesn't mean I like the show more than Code Geass. I just think overall it was a good
Yeah.
package.
Like this is an objective thing where you're just saying this anime, the quality of the anime was very high.
Yeah, so if I had to give one, just for some reference, since I've only seen a few shows, I'd
Right.
probably give Code Geass like an 8.8 to 9, because I genuinely liked it and I thought it was really good.
Okay.
You could argue otherwise, but I'd have to at least give this show an 8.5. At least.
8.5?
And that could go up. That could fluctuate. Yeah, an 8.5.
Just give it a solid number for now.
Because I really did like it. Actually,
Right?
yeah, it's super good. The more I think about it, it's
And you
just
don't
like,
want to give it a high rating just because, or at least I don't like giving things high ratings, but when it's deserved.
you know, it's
it's-
totally reasonable. We're not
yeah.
we're not out here watching trash unless we want to do that eventually and paint ourselves and say this show is fucking terrible. Don't ever watch it.
Yeah.
I hate to just piggyback off what you said, but I do think that like an 8.5 to an 8.8 is actually really reasonable. I want to almost say 9. I almost do want to say 9.
But
But again, you
I
have
don't
more
know.
experience in way more shows,
Yes,
so
I
you
do.
have to get pretty
I know I
delicate
have
when
to,
it comes to ratings. For me, I
Absolutely.
could just keep throwing numbers out there
Yeah.
and be like, "Oh, did I say that? Whatever."
Yeah. So give it a solid number though. Solid number. One number.
I think overall, 9. I'm gonna go 9.
9.
I think it was a really,
Wow.
really good package.
Jeez. It's gonna be hard for me to top another.
But
like,
I'm
bring to
indecisive.
another
You know
show.
that, because
I know, but you
here,
need one rating. One rating.
I'm sitting here thinking 9.5. I mean, it was good.
9.5.
There's nothing about the show I thought was bad. I
mean, you're right.
It kept,
That's the
it kept me
problem.
wanting to watch it. Could we break the rule and just say 10s are fine? Like I think
No, 10s are not fine.
But then
Give whatever you think the highest rating could be. Trust me, I'm going to show you a bunch more anime. I'm hoping something's better than this, but I don't know. That's why I said, by the way, shout out, if you're trying to get anyone into anime, I think Promised Neverland is the best anime to introduce someone in, just because it's such a good story, as Adam's pointing out. Characters are really fun, relatable. It's all very realistic. It's grounded.
All right, I'll give it a 9. I'm just gonna give it a flat 9.
9.0. Yeah. Okay, so 8.8 from Aaron, 9.0 from Adam. I'm going to start marking these down, and I'm going to start ranking them so we have, like, more.
Okay, yeah, so we can look back on it, and maybe we'll make a comment and say, now that I've watched this show, I'm going to lower my ranking. Because rankings can change, or maybe I rewatch it.
All right, here's another thing. Do you want to rank the rest of the animes we've both seen, just because there's not that many? I don't know if you
right now, we can do that in the next episode.
All right.
We've already hit 50 minutes, and I was kind of planning only to have this
30.
one be like 45. And
yeah.
I think we do have to leave here soon. But I hope you guys did enjoy this episode of the Just One More podcast. I thought this was a really good episode. I thought this is something that we're probably going to want our episodes to look like in the future.
Absolutely.
Where we have some points that we want to talk about. I'm really excited to do something similar to this for the Code Geass movie. And then we could probably talk about Code Geass overall as a show before we get into the movie. That'd be a really good idea. So, as I said before, hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you could share this with a friend, that'd be awesome. If you could leave a like, dislike. If you disliked it, let us know. Throw a comment down in the comment section. All of that is really helpful for us to grow, and we just really appreciate the fact that you even got to the end of the episode if you're here.
Yeah.
But other than that, we'll see you on the next one.
All right, peace.